forget. And we're going to
Right.
get cracking. Thank you for joining us, everyone. A lot of the reason I really wanted to do this was because we miss your faces. We don't feel like we get to see you anymore. And I know we haven't had too many team calls of late, but that is something that we'll pick up again in the coming weeks and months. But really, I guess, wanted to do a few shares from Top Achievers, because as you may or may not know, we'd posted the odd pic when we were in Fiji. Surprisingly, we've just been to Fiji for Top Achievers. And, you know, it was
good.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Very good.
It was bloody awesome. Al's very excited, obviously. Took a lot away from Top Achievers. Mac would be delighted with that feedback. It was absolutely awesome. Hello, Australia. I'm just muting Australia. Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. And, you know, it just highlighted a lot of things for me and Al. We've spoken a lot about it since while we were there as well. It brought up a lot of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, I posted that video of when, you know, we had our first 3 days with everyone. And then when all of the rest of the mob came in, and I was watching people meet people off the bus, and it really brought home to me that I wanted people to be getting off the bus. And I know I posted a video about that and made Michelle Goodman cry, so sorry, Michelle. And it wasn't like a sad thing. It was more, you know, it was not about me at all. It's about you guys. You deserve to be getting on that bus and getting off that bus. You deserve to know exactly what these events are like. They're crazy, aren't they? You know, just... they spoil you rotten. You get to grow, you get to learn, you get to connect with other leaders, and you need to be there, guys. You need to know you can be there, and it's time to just put the work in to get there. But on that note, Al said to me before this call, you'll probably speak more than me, and I went, of course I won't. I don't think Al's really said anything apart from Fiji was good. On that note, warming up, getting ready, prepping. On that note, you know, I did the video saying I really wish that some of you guys were getting off the bus. Get on the bus, get on the bus. On the last day there, we had to actually we were in the training room, and we had to get into groups with our downline. They said, get your upline and go find your upline and sit in your teams. This was a massive lesson for me after my video, okay? Because we actually ended up sitting in a group there were 12 of us. So after me doing a video saying none of the team are on the bus, get on the bus to get off the bus, we actually did have the biggest team there. And it's just that whole ripple effect. Hey, you don't, obviously there are people now that are leaders in their own right and have stepped up and are doing their thing. And we still know the people in our team, but a lot of them have broken away to do their own thing. But it really highlighted to me the ripple effect of what we do. And one day I'm thinking we don't have any team there, and it actually turns out we have the biggest team there out of everyone. So that was pretty cool, but I still want you to get on the bus and get off the bus, because I want your faces to be there, because their faces, Brett, seriously, no, only joking. So yeah, that was a really cool lesson, just about how big a ripple effect it is, just from you guys saying yes and the people's lives that you change along the way, and how deep that will go. So that was really cool. That was a bit of a highlight. Yeah. It was a bit of a highlight. What else was a highlight, Al, seeing as it was so good? What was good? What was good about it?
Highlights. You know, actually for me, guys, that was a big thing, was seeing, you know, all these people that we'd had an effect on indirectly, I suppose, some of them directly, some of them indirectly. And just to reiterate what Deb said about, you know, you don't know who you bring in and who they bring in and who they bring in. And it was, yeah, that was really cool. And these people, even though like some of them, they're, you know, PETs removed from us, they still look up to us and, you know, ask us for advice. And even though we don't interact with them daily or even, you know, monthly. So that was pretty cool. That was a good thing, good learning experience. I think we undervalue ourselves as leaders sometimes. And everyone, I'm sure, goes through phases like that where you question yourself, where, you know, and, you know, we've been doing this for 6 years now. So we've had a lot of ups and downs and round the merry-go-round rides and all sorts of things going on. But don't ever question yourself as leaders, because, you know, as long as you've got someone, if you've brought someone into this business and they're still hanging in there, and, you know, you're doing what you have to do, and that's important. Don't ever lose sight. Don't ever undervalue yourself, I suppose.
What else was a highlight? It was a bit of a highlight going to the Maui gym stand and just being told to pick a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, that was cool.
And getting back to the bedroom one night and finding personalised pyjamas that fit like a glove. I actually found Kath McAuliffe today and I'm like, these jammy fittings, it's freaking me out because everyone was saying they fit perfectly. Everyone's did. So it's a little bit weird. So I phoned corporate today just to say I reckon that they've broken into all of our houses while we've not been in.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I haven't even tried mine on.
I've tried yours on. They're too big, so they'll fit you.
The other highlight, of course,
I haven't really tried.
If you'd seen any of the photos, you would have seen the highlight for just about everyone there was when we got to go and do some volunteer work at one of the local schools. And that was amazing.
It was cool. So cool. Let me just say it was, I know Jennifer will probably want to punch me in the face now, right? And I'm from Rugby. I'm from a town called Rugby, which is where rugby union was invented, okay? So I grew up around Rugby. Obviously the town, but also the game. And I was at doing this volunteer day, and we really did. It wasn't just go in and hug some kids and then have some photos. We got super filthy. Hey, like we got filthy, sweaty. It was so hot. We were moving massive fence posts. We were mixing cement, running up hills with bags of, well, I don't even know what was in those bags that we kept.
Sand.
It was really funny, actually. It took us right back. We treated it like a CrossFit workout because we had to get this from here to here. So it was just like, let's go. So it was bloody awesome. It was like 2.5 hours of full on work, painting and just heaps of stuff. But I was with, I don't know if you've heard of Rico Gear. Jen's like, oh, God. See, I knew she'd laugh. She's like, no, she's never heard of him. I'll fill you in later, Jen. He used to play for this rugby team, this little, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, so I was painting this classroom with this, guy. And all the little kids in Fiji, they weren't that big actually, but all the kids were coming out they knew who he was. They knew, all the kids in Fiji knew who this guy was, and they were coming up asking for photos because they're massive into their rugby in Fiji, hugely. So at the end, after we'd done all of this work and we got so much done, and who's been to Fiji? Pop your hand up if you've been to Fiji before. No one. Fiji times like, it's a thing. It doesn't exist. They are so laid back. Nothing gets done. Honestly, it's just like, yeah, Fiji time. They even say that to you when you order a drink. Can I have this? Not that we ordered any drinks while we were there, but can we have this, please? Yeah, in Fiji time. That's in 5-star hotels. It's just a thing. There's no rush over there. But so I think they were quite astounded that this company had come in with 70 people and worked our asses off for like 2.5 hours, and we got so much done. They couldn't actually keep up. I think we did way more than they even ever anticipated. But right at the very end, we all gathered down at the bottom, and the principal of the school gave a speech, and she was so moved and she was nearly crying, and it was really, really emotional. But just before that, we got told by Mac Larson, that Isagenix had been and organised a bunch of rugby balls to give to these kids, but they'd spoken to the Fiji national rugby team. We'd got 4 of the players hiding around the corner. It's giving me goosebumps talking about it. Hiding around the corner to surprise these kids. And it was just, and that was, again, it was just another lesson about Isagenix and your ladder being up against the right wall, because like we didn't know anything about this. It was Kristen Kadic, wasn't it? She had done the whole thing herself, taken it on herself to get these guys to turn up. When they walked out, the kids, oh my God, actually it was quite scary because they all literally just ran, didn't they? They all just ran towards us. We're all sitting on the floor and it's like this mass bunch of kids, but they just were so excited. And that was just, again, a massive highlight about the heart of this company. And it was brilliant. And then all these guys, the Fijian rugby players and Rico and a few of the guys, you know, from our side and girls, had a massive rugby game after with all the kids. Some of the dads from the village came in, and it was just a really, really special, special time. And for me, that was the absolute highlight of the whole trip. And it gave me a lot to take away, gave me a lot to think about. And, you know, moving forward, it will, every place I go to now, think about it a bit differently and see if there's something I can do when I'm there. Obviously, one person or two people can't do as much as 70, but there's always something we can do. So that was super special, wasn't it?
It made us realise it's not about us. Everything we do, it gives us the ability to help others. It was that really hit home. Obviously, when you do a lot of charity, if you do charity work, that's the message you get out of it. We're so well off, we're so well looked after, we're so spoiled that there's so much we can do to help.
I likened it to like my Isagenix, just talking from my personal point of view. I likened it when I went back and I was reflecting on it all. I likened it to my Isagenix business, because it was like we walked in there, we had a job to do, get down, get on with the work, get it done. Don't stop till it's done. And it is not about you, Debbie. This is not about you. And that is so like our businesses, guys. And I think, and me too. I often I think I did a video about this actually, and I never thought I was making it about me. But after that experience, I started questioning that, and I was like, well, maybe you have a bit, Debbie, because maybe you haven't been sharing as selflessly, or whatever it is. So that was a really, really good lesson, and I could link it back to business hugely. So super, super cool. Another highlight was Heidi's dancing on the last night, but we won't talk about that. It's really funny when you go away and you're not drinking and everyone's drinking. Eye-opening.
Yeah. One of the features of this trip was there's a bit of organised time, but then there was a lot of time you could sit down with people and chat. And this business, as you know, is all about conversations, good listening, all of that sort of stuff. And we had the ability to actually practice that with our peers, I suppose, other people who earned their way to Fiji. And that was really enlightening. It was in a lot of those conversations that we learned or had the opportunity to think about things a lot more and discuss things. One of the big things I got out of it was, and one conversation I had with one of our guys, was the whole clarity piece. Now, I did a post the other day in the page with the Brendan Burchard quote out of his book. High Performance Habits. Recommended reading. I'm still only through the first chapter, but just out of the first chapter, the quote about...
Jen's like, come on now, hurry up with the book.
Yeah.
The rest of it might be crap.
Was about the, leaders engage their people in conversations about tomorrow. That's what you need to keep doing. And I read that after I'd been to Fiji, but while I was at Fiji, I was having conversations about clarity and this whole thing about, do you know where you're going? And I realised, well, actually, when I was questioned, I realised I've lost my focus. My goals are different now from when I started, but I've never spent the time actually revisiting that and thinking, okay, let's get clear. Let's get clear on, let's get me to get clear on my goals, because without goals, really clear vision of where you want to go, then how on earth can you work your way back to the steps you need to take you down the path to get to those goals? So when I did that post in the Believe the Change the other day, I put that on there because I realised that it's not, as far as me getting clarity as well, what about the people I brought in? Are they starting to tread water thinking, I don't really know where I want to go with the business? Put
your hand up if you know exactly where you're going with your Isagenix business, what you're working towards. I knew you'd put your hand up, Jen. Good on you.
Yeah.
See, our hands aren't up either. So that's super cool. That is brilliant, Jen. And that is exactly what you need. And as Al said, these conversations that we had, a lot of the time just sitting around, not in the actual training things, just sitting around talking to people. That's where a lot of growth happened for us, and a lot of our minds got reopened to things, and we started thinking about things a lot differently, and realized, and I know for me, especially in the last probably 18 months, I really have got into management mode, and it's been hard not to, because there's a lot of stuff to manage. And I'm trying to provide the best for everyone, and still we are enrolling still and bringing new people in, and it's just been really crazy. So I certainly have lost sight of my vision, and I'm working on my clarity at the minute hugely, and I know Alec is too. So within mind that Jen's the only person that put her hand up there to say she knows exactly where she's going, we're just going to share a couple of stories we heard over in Fiji. that really do make sense of this clarity piece, I guess. Do you want to go first, dude?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So this came up, and I think what prompted these casual conversations we're having about clarity and everything was the fact that corporate, we'd spent time with Mac as a group, and he impressed upon us the fact that Isagenix has a really clear vision of where they're going, and it's really exciting. What we heard over there was really exciting. 2018 is going to be awesome.
Even Al's excited, so
I did
hold
get excited,
on to your hats.
Yeah.
I know. If Al's excited, imagine what the rest of us are going to be like.
There's a lot of stuff coming in that's really going to make our businesses, give us great opportunities to really grow our business. And Mac, I think it was Mac, he was telling us a story about the analogy of playing golf. I think it was Jack Nicklaus. This is a quote from Jack Nicklaus, or the story from Jack Nicklaus. And every shot he ever played on the golf course, the first thing he pictured was the ball dropping in the hole, or at least being placed with that close to the hole so that he didn't have to think about it and just drop it in. And once he thought about that, he started at that end. Okay, I know where the ball's got to go. It's got to go in that hole. And then he worked his way back and he pictured the ball, visualized the ball, going through the air and where it was going to bounce, where it was going to land on the green so that it would end up in a position to fall in the hole. And then after he had that picture in his mind, then he got back to, his setup and that, which was all pretty automatic. But the big thing was that he had that super clear picture of where the ball was ending up and how it was going to get there. And, that was the prompt, I think, for a lot of, my thoughts while we were over there and the conversations we had.
That was a very brief version. Mac went on about this golf story for literally about 40 minutes. That was the short version.
Yeah, I'm better at the short version.
But I think it's more that it's knowing when you start out what the outcome is. They don't just walk out onto the green and blindly hit the ball and hope for the best. They know exactly what they want from that ball. They've seen it in their mind's eye. Mac also shared a story with us. He's from some tiny little town where they all used to, they're farm kids, so they used to drive at about
14 and driving trucks and stuff.
Hang on, Australia's got a message. Oh, the Magician's Way. Yeah, we've got that Magician's Way, Australia. Australia recommends we read the Magician's Way. Anyway, so Mac grew up in like farm boy, and they were all driving tractors when they were about, and motorbikes and stuff when they were about like 1 year old. He said that like all the kids could just drive. They just did. But obviously they did reach a point where they had to do it legally and go for their licenses. Motorbikes, a lot of them on motorbikes. So they'd been getting about the farm for literally probably 8 years on a motorbike, and then they had to go and do their test in this tiny little town. And it was done by the police. The policeman used to do the test for everyone, and he'd put out like witches' hats, and they'd have to go round them on their motorbikes. And these are people, as I say, that had been could ride them with their eyes closed backwards, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Without fail, Mac knew the policeman, and it happened to him and all of his friends. Without fail, every kid that got on the bike to do this test would knock down all the cones. And Mac said the policeman used to just kill himself laughing because he knew all these kids. He knew they could ride motorbikes. They all grew up in this tiny little town. But he'd give them all, he'd say to them all, he'd let them all knock them down the first time because he knew it would happen. And then he'd say to every kid, you're not looking ahead. All you're thinking about is that next cone. So you're fixated on that cone, and that's where you're looking. So you're going into it. You need to look 2 or 3 cones ahead. You've got to look where you're going, and that way you'll be able to navigate and you'll get there. And, when Mac shared that with us, again, probably took a little bit longer, but it's like your business. You can't just look at what the next thing is. We have to look ahead to where we're going. It can't be just like, I'm going to do this week. There's got to be long-term things in place, long-term goals, long-term. You've got to have your eye over there while doing this bit. We've got to be heading towards there. We've got to know where we're going. So they were really cool little analogies. As Al just said, there's a lot of exciting things coming, and I know I'm teasing everyone about the 1st of December. I'm sorry, I don't like to do that. I like it a bit, actually. It's funner than I thought. I didn't think I'd like to do it. And it's really not from a place of, I know something you don't know. It's because it's exciting. We were sworn to secrecy. We can't tell you, but it's good to get that energy happening in the group. it is good to do that. And with that in mind, there's a lot of stuff being rolled out in the next probably 6 months, hey, for customers and for business builders. So there's some separate things going to happen for both. So it's really, really cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Some of it you will get to find out before it's rolled out to, you know, everybody. But it taught us really at Fiji to, we've got these things to build towards. We've got these things to work towards. So it's like, I know I'm joking with you all about the 1st of December, but it's something that we can all get excited about. You can use that on your own pages. You know, you can say, I've got no idea what's going to happen, but I've heard something really cool's coming on the 1st of December and I can't wait. You know, however that looks for you. So there will be new promotions and stuff that you can also build towards with your teams. So obviously we try and keep the energy high in our Be the Change team, but tag your people, get them involved, work towards things with those guys too, you know, get everyone fired up.
Because that's something I haven't been doing, but I realise after being there that that's what I need to do.
Jennifer's asked if you can bribe Macy. Probably pretty easily, to be fair. She should be easily bought, that kid. Wouldn't take you, probably wouldn't. You just have to ask her, to be fair. Wouldn't have to even bribe her. So I'm not going to let you near her.
Yeah, but building, I mean, events are obvious. We all try to build to events. And as a group we do, and nationally we do as well. But as Deb said, you know, think about who's not getting these messages, who needs to know something's coming up they should go to. And then the little secret releases that, you know, the little tricky things that come up here and there that you might not have a lot of notice on. But as soon as you get wind of it, think, okay, what action plan can I put in place now to build a bit of intrigue, a bit of excitement, you know, to get people geared up and all over it. One of those obvious things is, well, no, it's not that obvious actually, and it's slightly different, but things like the pools, you know, when pool announcements are made and things like that, I know I'm guilty of just going, oh yeah, well, okay, everyone will hear about that, you know, they see eyes FYI and all that sort of thing, but people don't. You know, we have to get proactive about putting stuff in front of people's faces.
Make sure your team know how they can earn extra money, and there are some really, really cool things being rolled out over the next few months. First one is obviously on the 1st of December. But Macy's in bed fast asleep. Al just touched on events then, mentioned events. We spoke about that really heaps in that first 3 days when we were in that room with all the other, who was there? Millionaires and Platinums. That was it for those first 3 days. And we had a big focus on events. And I'm the first person to put my hand up and say, I go to all the big events, but I stopped going to like the Super Saturdays and stuff because I found them really boring. I found it repetitive, and you're nodding. And it was just the same old, and sitting in the seat and just having someone talk at you, really, that format, it doesn't excite me. So, but what happens when we don't show up? Not just us, I mean, we as a collective here as a team, our team don't show up, our people don't show up. We can't get excited. You know, I still get excited about Celebration and Summer Kickoff because I think they're brilliant. So it's easy to say to people, come on, let's go. But, you know, the Super Saturdays and stuff, I found it really tough to pretend to, well, I won't pretend anything. So I just didn't go and didn't say to people, get along there. But they're changing quite dramatically next year for the better. And they're going to be absolutely brilliant. Different format, very, very, what's the word? Interactive, very interactive. It's not going to be just someone standing on stage talking at you. So they are going to be great. We're going to be very involved with the ones here in Queensland. All of the leaders, you know, were happy to run with this new format and to be very, very heavily involved. And I think they will be well worth getting to. Yeah. And I think we needed it. Our events needed a lift. So that is definitely coming, and we will have more on that soon. Yeah. But it's exciting, and you'll know. And what's really nice to know is the energy is going to be great. There's going to be lots of different stuff happening, and if you've got team in Melbourne, it's going to be the same there. If you've got team in Perth, they're going to be the same there. It's not going to be the same stuff. It's not like we're not robots. We've obviously got creative license and freedom to do whatever piece we want to do, but the actual structure of it will be the same. So you'll know when you send your people, you're going to be sending them to something punchy, something quick, something that keeps the energy going, and something they really will benefit from. So Super Saturdays are changing quite a lot, and a few of our core events too. are going to have some great
rejigged
and funked up really, and made like the one that we really focused on was ISA Uni. And again, sitting in the room and just being talked at maybe isn't so great. ISA Uni is great. I just got back from the one in London. It was absolutely brilliant. But I think maybe it's time for those to change as well. So we all had a bit of a vote on it and to take those forward. And it might be just this sort of space. They did ask us questions like, do you think sitting in a hotel in a boxy room with no windows, maybe that's what needs to change? And I was like, yes. Steve Foxwell has big visions of using like warehouses and funky chairs and different spaces and really cool stuff. Not like weirdy stuff, but just to lift the energy. Nice bright areas, nice, outdoor food vans and just little things that might just create a cooler space for these events.
That's where 2018 is going to be exciting because things are going to change. You're going to notice big changes and better energy, all of these things that we got used to over the years.
So from our point of view, for you guys, we will certainly be showing up. We've never gone away, and I know that you guys know that, but I think in the bigger picture, I was talking to corporate today and they're like, you and Alice like a mystery to all these people. I'm like, but we shouldn't be a mystery. We do the work, we do what we need to do, but I think because we're not very vocal, I guess, out on the bigger pages. It's like we are like a little ninja couple, which is cool. I like that. But so it was quite funny. Kath was telling me about some of the feedback from the other people that had been there that were like, oh, can't believe we got to speak to Debbie and Alec. I'm like, do they think we don't speak to people? I spent like my whole day speaking to people. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going. So be excited. Talking of excited, save the date for the Friday of Celebration. Who's coming to Celebration? Come on, Australia. That's awesome. We've booked today. We've booked and confirmed our Be the Change party for the Friday. That's like my favourite part of the whole of Celebration, to be fair. So that's done. So I'll get some more details to you in the coming weeks. And I think that's really it. It was just I really wanted to touch base again, but Al's got something.
I was just going to say a lot of events. There's a lot of belief. It's all about building belief in company and all that sort of jazz, which is cool. The top achievers, especially the Millionaire Platinum part, the first few days, obviously it wasn't designed for that purpose. It wasn't about building belief in us because
we probably think we've got it.
We're all very committed to the whole everything, but it did, in just the conversations we had, it inspired me, and my belief again went through the roof as far as the company, what we're involved with and who we're involved with. It went through the roof again. Some of the stories, that were shared by Foxy and Mac and all of them about their experiences with other companies, other network marketing companies, they're truly laughable. A lot of some of the other companies, I shouldn't say that, and I won't name names, but Isagenix is so far ahead of the game. Like, you've definitely got, as they say, your ladder against the right wall. You're in the right place. Just one quick little story. Foxy went to a DSA, Direct Selling Association meeting. They go to them regularly as representatives of Isagenix. And he was saying how he's not real fussed on going because it's a lot of...
they're boring as them.
Yeah, like they're all middle-aged or older. Like they're all stuck in their grooves. And
nothing wrong with being middle-aged.
No, middle-aged is all right. But, one of the questions one of these meetings was recently was, okay, so who's thought about using social media?
I know.
To drive their business.
That was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, and like Foxy couldn't. He fell off his chair.
He just sat there like,
shaking his head.
Get me out of here. And then him and Mac were fighting about whose turn it was to go to the Christmas one because someone has to turn up to represent, and they're like, I don't want to go. They were like, who? That was a really big company, and I know who that was actually. I've just remembered. Crazy.
So we're streaks ahead of them. We're keeping ahead of them.
Massively ahead. And actually, Jimmy zoomed in, didn't he? Jim Cooves zoomed in and told us other cool stuff. And I really feel like I'm saying half telling you stuff, but it is stuff we can't say. But it is such innovative stuff, and it is so ahead of everything, and it's just brilliant. Some of the stuff that they're working on and getting finalized is huge, and it's going to make everything easier for us. It's going to make Isagenix even more attractive for your prospects. It's going to,
customers
and the customers, everything's going to get easier. The ordering process, just in case anyone, they're really working on the website to make it even easier, because it's still not easy enough to order. It's not. It's pain in the bum. So they're actually, I think that's a very soon thing, like a very soon thing. That was brilliant English, but I think that's, something that's happening, being worked on all the time, and they're working towards that. But there's a lot of great things happening, back end stuff that's going to make the process easier. There's a lot of great product stuff happening. We did have a mass tasting session on the last day of, probably shouldn't tell you this actually, but we will.
We won't say the flavours.
We won't tell you the flavours, but there was like 6 different whey-thin flavours. Poor Jen, she's like, well, what's the point of telling us you did anything? And then we tried 6 new bars. Got to be honest, most of them were, I'll tell you one of the flavours, mint choc chip bar. And I was so excited. Well, I love mint stuff. I love mint and chocolate. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be brilliant. Tasted like Colgate. It was bloody awful. So yeah, that was a big letdown. But there was some spectacular bar flavours hidden amongst the gross ones.
Lots of excitement.
Any dairy free. I'm being stealth. I've just laughed like that, and it's echoed right across the water. Any dairy free. Look, it was so like ninja. I just said we're like ninjas, and we're totally, might as well just go, yeah, there was a peanut one. Might as well say that, mightn't we?
Oh, you could.
So, oh no. If there had been a peanut dairy free, it would have been bloody lovely. If there had been one. So, yeah, lots of really, really cool stuff, and lots of technology things as well, and just really cool things. So it's going to be a great, next year is going to be brilliant. So yeah, we're picking up the events, we're getting things cracking for our Be the Change party. There's obviously 1st of December is going to be exciting, and I know Christmas traditionally for you guys with your business might see a bit of a downturn. I'll just tell you very quickly as well before we let you go. We are going to be doing I know there's a global cleanse every January. We're going to get very heavily into doing our own global cleanse. So it's still in progress, but as soon as I've got something, I'll put it in Lead the Change. But the way that we envisage it happening is there'll be, I think, the 15th of January as a start date. But like I said, we're just finalising everything. But it will be for Australia and for the UK team. There'll be a host that I've already got the new Facebook page, but it won't be, for example, if you're talking to someone, it's such a great tool. We're going to have an enrollment form specific for the 30-day New Year, whatever we're going to call it. It will have a name that we are creating. We did it today, a specific enrollment form. There'll be tools, there'll be images you can use. Obviously, it will be like, let's have a ton of info sessions, Wellness Wednesdays, Wednesdays, sip and samples, whatever we're going to call them, in the lead up after Christmas up until, the order date. And let's really drive people into that. And then when you get new people that say, actually, I am feeling a bit rubbish after Christmas, because it's going to happen, that will be the thing to drive them to. You can pop them into this Facebook group, and it is just for brand new people that are doing a 30-day. So they don't get the overwhelm. They might just want to do 30 days, and that's great. And they don't get the overwhelm of being in Be the Change with 4,000 other people and loads of other stuff. This will just be a 30-day Facebook group. It's totally up to you how you do it. When we're going to have 3 or 4 info sessions here before, and we're going to have one last final one, and everyone that's local that's committing to doing the 30-day challenge, we're going to help everyone on this night. We'll measure, we'll do before and after. We can't do after photos, that was a stupid thing to say. We'll do before photos, we'll get them set up really, really well for this 30 days. And obviously the whole aim is we want everyone to have a great 30 days. Long-term plan, because obviously we don't just look at the first 2 cones, we look at the further cones. They're going to love it so much and they're going to have had such a great environment and a great community that they're going to want to carry on. And then that would be the time to put them in Be the Change, because this group will close down. This will be a 30-day group only. But yeah, so there's some images we're putting together that you can all use, this order form again. But on the page, we will combine a page for the UK guys and for you. So there will be lots of energy. It'll be cool. There'll be people posting at all different times, obviously, because 2 time zones. But I think that's when we spoke earlier about having something to build towards. This really will give everyone, because we're going to reach the time now where people say, I'm not ready now, I'll do it after Christmas. That's probably already happening to some of you. So this is a great time then to say, that's great that you say that. We've got this brilliant global cleanse, or whatever we're going to call it, that starts on January the 15th. I'm kind of toying with 2 start dates, one on the 15th, one on the 29th, more because I think the 15th will work really well in the UK. Because everyone, they don't have a big, obviously it's winter, they only have 2 weeks off for Christmas from school, and they go back around the 3rd or 4th of January, so everyone's kind of getting back into it. Whereas here, obviously, our schools go back a lot later, it's summer, a lot of people are still on holiday, and hang on.
You can keep talking.
Well, I can't, it's distracting.
I don't know how to close it.
Just the red thing there. Sorry. My gosh. Can't get the stuff. So I think having 2 dates might work well, but we'll finalise that. And obviously have cut-off dates for ordering. But I think, and it's up to you how you do it. So, you know, like you, Kate, in Brisbane, you might have everyone come around to your house and do all their measurements and help each other take photos and just make it a really good community from the very start. You know, bring your friends, get your friends on board. New Year's resolutions. Judy just asked if we know anything about UK, any more European markets opening. No. There will be at least one next year, but I really don't know. I will try and find out for you more specific answer, but I think at the minute with the UK, Ireland and the Netherlands, I think it's probably a bit crazy. So yeah, I think that's it really. It's exciting. There's lots of cool things. I'm excited. I'm very excited for, you know, Christmas, the New Year period, and what's to come for us all next year, because it's going to be brilliant. It's nice to actually connect back again and have a Zoom call, and we certainly will do more regular ones of those. We've got some things we're planning for you guys to help you. Not enough happy cows. That's probably true, actually. We've got some stuff for you guys as well that we're trying to get into place that will make it even easier for you and your teams to do certain things and to get training and to, you know, plug into stuff. So watch this space. And it's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions? Apart from Judy about when's Poland opening? Don't know. No? We all good? Super cool.
Thanks, guys.
That's cool, guys. Great to see you all. I'll post the recording and we'll catch up with you real soon.
Yep.
Take care.
It's been good.
It's been good. Bye.